Hey everyone, welcome back to the story behind the scream. We just already started, but I forgot to press record on the audio, and us being close to the T-stage, you wouldn't have understood anything, so we have to start again. Sorry, Tetzel. This is a very exciting episode because we are here with Tetzel from Asenblut, and well, Tetzel, you have played quite a few shows this month already. You've been at quite a lot of festivals. How are you doing, and how is your voice holding up? One more time.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be back here at Summer Breeze and also to spark some interest for you Scream dudes. I'm really happy about that and feel honored. And yeah, we've had quite a few shows, but the voice is holding up pretty well so far. And as I said, I'm excited after 9 years to return to Summer Breeze. So let's roll.
So one of the very first questions we most of the time ask the vocalists is, can you remember the very first time you came in contact with harsh vocals, with screaming?
Yeah, actually, it must have been around 2001 or 2002, which was actually a time before I really got into metal at all. Right around that time, I started to listen to bands like Blind Guardian, Iced Earth, and stuff like that. So not really the harsh vocal stuff. And right around that time, the first band that had a little bit of more harsh vocals was My Dying Bride. But I didn't even know that this was heavy metal or a style of metal. And then right after that, I got in contact with a lot of the German-speaking bands, actually. So, for example, Riga, Abrogation, and the Apokalyptischen Reiter were a couple of bands that got me into more extreme metal, so to speak.
All right. And what made you ultimately try? What ultimately made you try out harsh vocals yourself?
Well, when I started to study at the university, I also started to play the guitar. I wanted to learn the guitar, and yeah, I'm a kind of extroverted person. So for me, it was clear I want to sing, I want to play guitar, I want to be center stage, the frontman, and yeah, so I had to try it out and learn to sing, basically.
Super nice. I don't know, can you remember back then, Eric and I, we are learning screaming for over 2 years already now. Like, it feels like a long time. And sometimes we really think metal, vocals, screaming, to learn it, it really sucks. It's super annoying. Fuck, we don't make progress, there's no development at all. Can you remember when you had this time and you were learning it from the very beginning? Did you also have these times where you said, oh man, I'm trying it and there's no progress at all, I'm not developing, I can't scream. Did you have this?
It's actually really interesting because I came across you guys like close to 2 years ago through TikTok, and a lot of guys are teaching harsh vocals nowadays, and you see a lot of guys trying and learning. And it was really interesting to me because back in the day, there was no resources on how to scream. You basically tried to emulate what you could hear. And this is actually a very interesting topic I wanted to talk to you guys about, because what I see is that a lot of people develop the technique, they develop the style, and then they have basically the categories. You know, you got your false chords, you got your fry scream, you got your gutturals, you got this and that, but they all sound the same. Like, if you listen, I'm really sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, but sometimes I listen through the all-new metal playlist on Spotify, you know, when I have a long drive, and then there's a band playing, and then there's the next band playing, especially in modern metal. And it's like, do they have the same fucking singer? He sounds exactly the same. And kind of, my story was, I went through this school of just trial and error. Back in the day, we used to rehearse like 3 times a week. Like, we were really rehearsing a lot. So I just had to push through. So every time you had like this 3-4 hour rehearsal, and you just had to train like a muscle, you know, like the more you train, the more it worked and the less sore you got and the better it got. I mean, I wouldn't say that it clicked from the very first moment on, but basically just the continuous practice and just trying to figure out the style was the most important thing. I mean, if you look at bands, especially in old school death metal and black metal. A lot of vocalists that are kind of legendary, have their status. They don't have it because the technique is particularly interesting. You know, you had Britta. She's an amazing vocalist. She can do all the styles. She can really separate everything. I can't do that 100% like that. So, but for example, a Glenn Benton, yeah, D-side, you would never be like, oh yeah, he's probably doing this technique. No, it just sounds brutal. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. We just finished talking to Adam Briggs from Rivers of Nihil, and we also went into his technique, and also Jake Lors, August Burns Red, and I don't know, a bunch of others we talked to, Tuomas from Wolfhard. I don't know, there's a bunch of other examples also on our channel who are basically like the, let's say, old school guys. They started at a time where there weren't resources available, right? So what do? You listen to your music and you try to emulate it and scream, right? You don't know about false chords, you don't know about fries, you just have to figure out what sounds good and what doesn't completely fuck your voice. But the problem is if you are a self-taught person from the old school days, what we found most commonly with these vocalists is they had a moment where they were very close to destroying their voice, where they like had really intense problems. They lost their voice, they spit blood, and so they train, they practice, they figure out a style. It's not sustainable. They come to a breaking point and then they have to reinvent themselves. They might not like go to a coach and figure out technique, but they say, okay, they have to dial it back and find a safer technique. Maybe not completely safe, but safer to do. Whereas we now learn it with techniques to avoid that, to not like cause permanent damage. But what we also find is, yes, it can also be limiting sometimes.
Now, the interesting thing is here, I had it the other way around. So basically, the first time we played 8 shows in a row, I was super sore after the 3rd show, and the band basically said, "Well, you gotta go to a vocal coach." But that was the point when I started to take classical singing lessons. So it was the other way around. So I had all this harsh vocals kind of down already. I mean, when I started, there was way more of the black metal kind of screaming, like way more of the more high-pitched stuff, you know? And then I evolved kind of into being better at growls, basically. And so during that time, they were like, yeah, come on, you cannot be sore after 3 shows. And in, I think, 2019, I started, like 6 years ago, started to take vocal lessons, which also helped my technique and exactly this development you just described, so that you don't hit the brick wall and you're not sore every time.
Talking already about your screams, can you explain a bit how do you scream? Not about techniques or anything, but how do you feel it in your body? How do you produce an actual scream?
Yeah, so actually, of course, you pick up a lot of things also through these times where a lot of people are explaining certain things, and then you start also there, you start to try to feel and to incorporate more of this, because obviously, as you said, it's much better to know what you're doing and to know where to put the stress, especially if one technique is already stressed. I just had to talk with Molle, you know, and he had this problem. So like he says, he's a street musician. He's not a professional. He just puts pressure and he puts power. And I'm kind of the same. I'm like, oh, it's very, very loud, everything. It's very, very hard for me to keep it low and quiet. But then, of course, you have to tap into this. And so I have this, what I call, let's say, it's my how do you say that? Relaxed. I don't know if it's a fry, like something like ba 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 ba. This is like where I can go kind of forever. And then there's of course a lot of the more silent techniques. Actually, I just saw your video with the gutturals guy, and I'm trying forever to do it. It's like, but this is inhale. He doesn't do it as an inhale. It's like, and I have no clue how he does it. Did he explain it to you guys?
Yeah, he did. So what he said is he kind of it's kind of this nodding thing, like it is an inhale, like kind of grunting like a pig, but he says like he's inhaling and like speaking or exhaling at the same time. So it's like a weird balancing kind of thing. But like when he does it, there's like so much resonance and crispiness to it. It's insane.
So it actually is something like.
It goes through the nose and goes through the mouth kind of at the same time.
But inhales are the cheap way to do it. If you can do these sounds like exhaling, then you're fucking good. I can't do it, sadly. No.
Awesome, man. Can we maybe, since you already started screaming, can we also see a bit right below? But
yeah.
You're really famous for your lows.
Yeah, you said you're quite loud, so how loud do I have to go?
I don't know. So, as I said, like the first I really did was a lot of this. Es geht nicht das Streben nach vollendeter Vollkommenheit. This was like the more black metal scream, which really is a lot of stress for the voice. Yeah. I could do it way longer back in the day. Now it's already and then there's of course, as I just did, something like zwar hat uns niemand in den Sticks getaucht, kein Drach, kein Blut steckt uns die Haut, keine mystische Rüstung hilft uns zum Trotz. Wir sind unbesiegbar und unser Ruf. Something like this. It's like more the guttural. Yeah, but that's the issue. Like I'm always too loud. It should be way more quiet. And something in between. As I did before, I have to just come up with something. Meine Gedanken rasen, während ich starr im Regen stehe. Die Kälte meiner Kleidung schleichend in den Körper kriecht. Schreiend in Rage verliere ich meinen Verstand. Something like this.
Impressive. This was impressive.
Thank you very much.
It's like a fucking Viking, man. What the fuck? We tried it. Yeah. Like Eric and I, we also tried it like nimm dich der Sache an wie ein Berserker. And we tried to make it really low like a Viking. And we can do it like these force chord screams, like not talking about technique, but these nimm dich der Sache an wie ein Berserker. Something like this, but then I tried.
Sounds good.
But it's not at all like you. Then I tried. Okay, how is he making it low? I'm like, nimm dich der Sache an, but then start screaming.
Don't close your mouth, but actually try more chest resonance. Like, try to feel the vibration in your chest more.
Well, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a guy screaming from the like. There's a bunch of like poor photographers and videographers behind us who have to listen to us. Yeah, like. Maybe what I heard from you, what's maybe different from us, is I hear a lot of your voice, and I hear like a little bit of distortion on top, where it's like our basic false chord, whoa, is more this.
Yeah, this is the technical part.
More distortion, less voice.
Yeah.
More voice, less distortion, but more.
But this is the interesting thing. Like for example, when you do a record, you can use all these layers to kind of fill up different areas in the voice, and then you can also use these really low volume techniques. I like to call it if you do, for example. Sorry, I have to come up with something, but we can cut it, so you don't have to wait for 5 minutes. Something like I just really need to quickly find some lyrics,
Take your time.
Something.
I tried to build more resonance.
Drop your Adam's apple. Drop your. Drop it down. If you no, just talk. Like talk. Put your finger atop your larynx, and just try to talk low. Just drop your larynx. Drop. Drop your legs. Ah, almost Alex Terrible, man. Something like that. But he's very resonant. He's an amazing guy. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting how you explained it just to me with the larynx. Did you try it yourself this way?
I mean, this is like also in speaking when you try to speak low, what happens in your neck? Your Adam's apple drops, and then you speak like this. A lot of resonance, the lyrics go down, things like this, and then the difficult part is to add a scream, make a scream out of it. This is gonna be crazy video to edit. Yeah. Let me really quickly think. I really need to. The thing is, I need to think of a band with a similar technique to emulate what I'm trying to get across.
Lorna Shore.
I don't know any Lorna Shore lyrics, to be honest. Sorry. I mean. Will does a lot of the very basic false chord, and then there's a couple of when you have the drop in the music, he does the guttural and the like the angry dwarven scream. I don't know how to call it. It's insane, absolutely, yeah. And it's like
I don't know if you know Seite Flash, for example.
Yeah.
Also, they're also so low. He's so low, like you're a man, sir. Like I don't know. He's also so low. Maybe he's a good example.
Yeah, well, I can't come up with anything right now, but it's okay. We have a couple of examples. Yeah, but again, then there's also the inhales. I'm never doing them on stage, but like this is also a technique where you can add, especially effects like all this.
Is Marv here? One of the guys in the back said Marv from The Awake, he does inhales. He's an insane inhale vocalist. He's sick.
It's going to be really hard for me, just individually. It's very, very hard to be still articulate and inhale. Like if you say, yeah.
It's really difficult.
He said it's a big challenge. Articulation.
Very good point, by the way. If we're talking about articulation, let's jump right into that, because this is kind of what I try to achieve. I try to be very articulate. I really, really hope that my vocals, even though they're very harsh, they have a lot of distortion, they're very understandable. This was always my goal, to make people be able to understand the lyrics.
Also very important, especially when you write the lyrics, you want the people to understand them. True. I'm actually very impressed because listening to Asenblut and stuff, you would not really think that you're the big squealer to the inhales and stuff. Is it like, are you a bit sorry for that you can't really, because it's not the style of Asenblut, that you can't have these crazy screams that you can do or that you maybe want to learn in a different direction? Is it like that you feel like, it's a bit of pity that that doesn't really fit to this Viking death metal?
No, I think all the different techniques have their place and their space in different styles of music. And I really don't need to kind of show off to show, oh, I'm such a crazy, versatile vocalist. It just needs to fit the music. I mean, what I would do if it really fit, for example, I would sing kind of cleanish, gruffy, like I do with All for Metal, something like that. But it doesn't need to be forced upon it to be like, because in my opinion, nowadays, of course, you have a couple of bands where the vocalist stands out a lot, as we just said, for example, Lorna Shore, Will Ramos, insane guy. But then again, for me, that's always been a little bit of a surprise because, yeah, he's got this attention out of like kind of a mainstream perspective because we're like, oh my God, what is he doing? But then as a metalhead, you're like, yeah, I mean, he's good. Like, 500 other bands that I love. Not to put anything bad on him, but I'm just saying there's so many talented vocalists, and I'm never like, if it sounds good, I'm never like, oh wow. You know, it's just one of the guys that's doing a good job in what he does. The only thing would be usually the opposite. If you find someone who's like, it really doesn't sound good, or okay, I can't understand the word. I mean, I can't understand the word of gutturals, but it's so much fun. It's very different.
Yeah. All right, we jumped through a lot of topics. Let's just see in our cards where we should be. Let's talk about what happens before you start screaming. Do you have a warm-up technique? Warm-up routine?
Yeah, actually I do have. This is one of the things that I had to learn when I got these couple of issues with getting sore really quick. I'm always warming up my voice, and I'm always taking like 15 minutes of warm-up exercises. There's actually a couple of YouTube videos, and you just sing along, and then it helps me to get really in the groove and to warm up the voice. Yeah.
Since you already said that, like, understanding your lyrics that you say is so important for you, I can really imagine, like, at least we are doing it too, that a lot of people try to sound like you. They sing your songs, they try to scream your songs, and then they do maybe the mistake that I did, like, I don't scream, I did like, nimm dich der Sache an. These things. Do you have any advices for the people? Like, we have the honor now to sit next to you and you can directly help us, but people who are watching you and want to sound almost like you, similar like you, do you have a tip for them out there?
I mean, open up first and foremost. Open the mouth. You cannot really sing with a closed mouth. You will always sound like a knödel. You know, it's very, very small. You know, you need to open the mouth. Find your breath placement. Definitely, it's very important. And don't worry about distortion. It doesn't need to be super distorted. Adding distortion when you got the resonance, when you start to feel it in the right places, is actually the easier part. So try to be clear, and then try to be a little bit like all the guys are doing, a little bit of this, and then it comes automatically. It starts to just be there when you feel it in the right places. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure behind. I mean, as I said, I'm doing it too loud usually.
I don't know, it reminded me of God of War. Like there was one, I don't know, maybe like do you know God of War? Yeah. The snake thing, with like the super deep like. So that was kind of like that. That was just, I had this image in my head again. That was insane. Can you give us a bit more of those?
A bit more of this? I don't know. Let's see. Like, yeah, as I said, just open up. Like really, go wide. Go.
But okay, maybe you can teach us a little bit more about it, because when you say open up, what exactly do you open up? Like the mouth, everything, like like the back of the mouth, throat. What else opens up? Because
yeah, open the mouth wide, and yes, don't round too much. I mean, you can round, but I mean try with an ah.
Maybe can you give me the clean note underneath? What is the clean note?
Yeah, a lot of head resonance there. Try to keep it relaxed more, but yeah, perfect.
A bit painful. A bit.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty close. Nice, very nice. Yeah.
I'm more like, we really don't want to objectify you. But we're gonna do it now. Because I can imagine, dude, if I am this guy with these muscles, of course I have to sound like this. What do you answer these people? Is it correlates this that you're a fucking muscle beast with the screaming and your lower voice?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the older records, I got lower. I got through the time that I've been doing this, my voice, also my speaking voice, really got lower when I got heavier, when I got bigger, and older. Of course, it's also part of it. And I hope I can keep that up, and I can keep the voice. I don't wanna be Chris Barnes, you know. I mean, I'm really sorry, but he sounds not very good anymore. Really sadly, legendary albums, 6 Feet Under back in the days, and also of course the Cannibal Corpse stuff. But then again, if you listen to Corpse Grinder, he's doing it all for the same amount of time, and he still sounds great. But then again, also he is one of the guys where I would say he's never been known to have a great technique, but he just is brutal. That's the thing. Oh yeah, I'm coming up with an example. Just thinking about Corpse Grinder, Death Clock. You know Death Clock? Yes. Of course. There you've got this ding dong toodly tick tock, ding dong toodly tick tock, or this awaken, 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 take the land that must be taken. That's definitely a very low volume technique that he's doing. Brendan Small's is not screaming very loud. So the original vocalist, he was doing Nathan Explosion, this rise up from your 1,000-year-old sleep, break forth from your grave eternally. Yeah, stuff like that. That you can put like underneath, and it's not a very intense technique, for example.
For me, it's like really exciting to listen to you screaming, because we had a lot of guests right now on this story behind the scream from it, but no one sounds like you. And when I hear you, then I really think, okay, it really fits with this Viking genre. Was it like, did you think that, okay, I sound like this, I'm low, I'm this beast of a man, I have to go in this direction, or was it like really natural for you?
I mean, there's, of course, I also have people or role models, or so to speak, idols. I mean, of course, one of the big ones for me has always been Johann Hegg. Of course, he sounds amazing. He's very articulate. But also with him emulating his voice, his speaking voice is even lower than mine. So he's got this. The guy is almost 2 meters tall, or he's like 2 meters, and he's just naturally very, very low speaking. So if you talk to Johann, he's gonna sound like something like this, you know. And of course, when he screams, and he does like the very relaxed screams, it's already way lower than most people are gonna be, because he also kind of puts a lot of voice into it. Always been a huge fan of Angela Gosso. Absolutely crazy. Then of course I don't sound like her, but Glenn Benton, I already said. Also Maurizio Cataclysm, definitely. He's also this kind of in-between technique. I think it's like probably like a fry scream what he's doing, and then he's got the high-pitched Illuminati, you know, this stuff like this. Yeah, so it's evolved into that, and I feel, yeah, now I'm where I'm at. And I'm not really trying to change to sound like this or that, but yeah, as you said, I kind of developed my own signature voice in a way. Yeah.
Since you're already talking about development, are you still developing something? You said already that you are trying to learn clean singing now. I think you said also for metal this is more, but I can also really nicely imagine this for Asenblut if you have like a nice is it in English ballad, like ballad or something like very melancholic? I can really imagine your lower voice that this sounds amazing. Are you thinking some or developing in general?
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely gonna develop further because I'm still continuously doing my singing lessons and trying to get better and to practicing more. And with more practice, of course, you reach different points, and hopefully your kind of your baseline also increases. Not bass as as a low notes, but the baseline of your abilities. That's the idea. And we actually had a ballad which was kind of a spoken thing on our second album from 2013. But I mean, it's not planned. The new album is taking shape right now. We are almost done with everything, and I mean, we're gonna be melodic death metal. It's really kind of straight ahead.
It went fast with the new album. Then we went fast. Last year was the last album.
Yeah.
And then now next one. Next year then?
Yeah. Release is supposed to be next year, and we hope that everything will work out. Actually, I wanted to be way quicker with at least. Not with a whole album, but at least with the singles. Because, I mean, nowadays this is a completely different topic, but it's very interesting also maybe for people who are trying to get into music, releasing music themselves, because you kind of have to continuously do that. At the end of the day, as a band, the best content you have, of course you play shows, you announce your shows, but you obviously, when you have a song, when you have a video, when you have a single, this is a highlight every time you do it. And the more music you can put out, first of all, of course, it's going to get better over time. Same thing like Wolfhard Thomas said. It's a process. And then, of course, you have always the chance to grab some attention, because there's so many great bands nowadays. It's the background noise has risen to immense heights, and also the quality has risen very far. It's not hard to produce a well-sounding demo or even like the first couple of records if you do everything yourself. It's actually very, very obtainable, even if you just learn it by YouTube videos or something like that to mix your stuff on your own. So this is something where we are, even after now 17 years, still struggle to continuously have this kind of output and to still maintain the level of interest and to always be part of a scene. I still see us as newcomers in a way, even after such a long time, to be honest.
One thing that just came to my mind, a topic we explored in the beginning was like, the old school guys versus new school guys, like teaching yourself, going by emotion and feel versus going by technique. Did we already like fully explore? You said like you wanted to talk with us a little bit about it. Is it like still something that you wanted to discuss there with us? Just like asking because I thought maybe we switched too soon and didn't fully.
I mean, it's interesting to see you guys, because, as I said, you all have very different voices, but your approach is kind of the same. By the way, we just missed us on Camping Battleground, didn't we?
Actually not.
We got 5 lanes last time.
I thought you played with Steve. It was not okay. All right. Anyway, so what I would suggest again is like go into some parts where it's not so comfortable, and kind of don't ruin your voice, but kind of push through, record it, feel where it leads you, and also try, as I said before, try to kind of emulate stuff as you do, and then really compare it and see where you really sound good. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you don't sound like XY, but it's the most important part. If you want to be singers, if you want to actually start performing in your bands, I don't know about that, but it's interesting as well. Just try where you really feel that you are powerful and where you sound good.
Eric hasn't. Sorry.
No, that's interesting, because also with Jake Lurs from August Burns Red, we kind of had a similar discussion. Like he was telling us about like his vocals, like he has names for it, like a screeching eagle, thrill seeker, or whatever. And when he says like, okay, when I do like my screeching eagle high, I imagine like being an eagle and like soaring up into the sky. And that's where the the thing comes from. And like I also mentioned an example from a local band from out on Throat Cut, where their vocalist has a very unique style, which I would have never like tried to imitate it if it was just, maybe I'm going, it's like if it just was going by technique, because maybe if you just, probably your coach Dave from Screamers Vocal Coaching will hate me, but like maybe just being too focused on technique can limit you in a sense that you never try to explore something a little bit unsafe. Because those guys, or guys like you, the old school guys, they started unsafe and then became safe. Whereas safer, depending. Whereas we maybe with the technique driven stuff, not that it's bad, but like try to always get one step ahead, but like always stay safe, always stay correct, and not like, okay, let's maybe push a little bit too far, or get like experience maybe a little bit of pain or hoarseness, and then bring it back to a controllable level. And maybe that's all sometimes where we find that the limits with like the super duper technique focus. Does it hurt? Oh no, that's wrong. If it hurts, it's wrong. If we have like lose our head voice, the next day it's wrong. Maybe it's okay to sometimes have a little bit of that as long as it doesn't get out of control and you start spitting blood. That's too far, but maybe a little bit of going outside of your comfort zone is not too bad. What do you think?
Exactly my point. I mean, what's the issue? As long as you're not on tour, you can lose the voice. I mean, you lose it for the next day. You keep quiet. You drink some tea and some honey and some ginger, and then the next day it's already going to be good again. So, of course, as I said, for me, I don't know. This might be physiology-wise completely bullshit, but it's like a muscle. You know, you exercise it. You kind of strain it, and then it grows, you know. And then this is also how I see it with the voice. And then when you push to a certain point, and you feel like, yeah, I don't need to go there. I don't need to be, I don't know, like Mortician. I don't need to sound like that, below the rug, you know. I can't even do it. Like, you sound like a vacuum cleaner that's this big. It's like super somewhere there, down there, but you don't need to go everywhere, but just where you feel, okay, now this is a range that I have, like lows, mids, highs, whatever, and here is where I sound good. Let's try to develop in this area after you've explored the boundaries, kind of. And then of course you push the boundaries a little bit. I mean, I'm still doing it, as I said. Hats off to Britta. She's a super controlled vocalist. She knows what she's doing. I always push maybe a little bit too hard, but of course, after all these years, I know how far I can push to be ready for the next day. And this is kind of a part of the process. But then again, you're doing it for 2 years or a bit more than 2 years, and I'm doing it for 18 years, close to 18 years, and of course it takes time. It definitely takes time.
I don't know, just listening to you, I don't want to call you old because you're not old, but a lot of wisdom comes when you're talking. And this is really nice to hear because you have these 18 years of experience and you said so many nice tips to us, but also to the people out there. But with all the wisdom that you have, do you have like a last advice for all the people out there who are interested in you as a vocalist, who are maybe start screaming or already screaming? One advice that you maybe wish that you learned it earlier when you, I don't know, in the early 2000s?
Yeah, use the resources that you have. Follow guys like these. Check out all the tips. Try it yourself, and then start to walk your own path. That's really the advice. Because I really wish I would have had all these resources. I remember when it's a little part of the story when for the first time I was actually trying to research how to do it, and it was even way before the Zen of Screaming days. You remember her? It was even before her. So it was, I think on Angela Gosso's homepage, there was like a paragraph, maybe like only a paragraph of a couple of vocal tips. And then you're like, okay, there's a written word and you're trying to do what she says, but it's like, I don't know if it's actually what she's saying, you know. And this was all the advice you got. And then it was again and again listening to stuff, trying it out. How do I sound? Okay, let's see. What can I do? And just sing along. Singing along definitely is also a huge part of it. So use the resources and sing along.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that's it. That was an amazing episode. It was really fun. Lots of vocals. lots of wisdom. And yeah, I think with that, go follow Tetzel at Asenblut if you haven't already. And we see you the next time on The Story Behind the Scream. And go click whatever's on screen right now. Click the videos. They're somewhere. All right. Bye.
What the fuck? It's unique. It's fucking unique.